It's not one size fits all when it comes to being a fraudster. The truth of the matter is they come in all sorts of guises. However, it's fair to say that there are some people out there you would never expect to be a crook. Carrying out insurance fraud can be a highly sophisticated affair, and sometimes it takes more than one person to pull off a scam. But if you've buddied up with someone to cheat the system, then rule number one is that you'd better get your story straight. The undoing of many chances is when they struggle to get their stories straight, but that wasn't the case with our next claim. When it comes to recalling exactly what's happened during an incident, an eyewitness is hard to beat. Thanks to modern technology, more and more of us are able to call upon a witness that never gets it wrong. Insurance frauds carried out in plain sight are at risk of being foiled by an eyewitness, but sometimes scams are carried out behind closed doors with little evidence to back up the details of an incident. In cases like this, insurers need to work a bit harder to establish whether the information in the claim has been overcooked. Insurance companies' zero tolerance to fraud should be a massive deterrent, but wannabe scammers still think they can get away with it. However, what many cheats forget is that if you're one of those people who broadcast your life on social media, your digital footprint could catch you out if you've been up to no good. From people chancing their luck by exaggerating their injuries through to organised criminal gangs, insurance fraud hits all of us in the pocket. But the number of these fraudsters getting caught out sends a clear message to anyone thinking of committing insurance crime. They claimed, but now they're shamed. Some people simply can't help using the most minor of situations to cash in. Even a dodgy paving stone can be a money-making opportunity for a fraudster. They can exploit a loose slab by claiming that a trip caused a catalogue of injuries. There is no limit to the stories people will spin in pursuit of cash, and scammers find inspiration in any situation. The weather can provide the perfect cover for those on the fiddle. Snow and ice create hazardous driving conditions, and some motorists take to the wheel specifically during bad weather to use treacherous roads to their advantage. Technology is increasingly used to check that cheats and chancers aren't able to get away with their attempts to commit fraud. Those with legitimate claims know if they lose something valuable and they have an insurance policy, then it can be replaced. But dishonesty can end up costing those spinning the lies. Whilst many scams are uncovered with the help of modern technology, there's nothing quite like experience for rooting out a con artist. Prison officers with just that are dealing with criminals every day in prisons across the UK. You'd think, given the inmates are being punished, they'd keep their noses clean. If you compete in sport, then there's a good chance your efforts could be highlighted in all their glory. Local papers, websites, and your club's social media will enjoy celebrating your triumphs. But as this next case demonstrates, sometimes having your name and your face out there for all to see isn't helpful. From people chancing their luck by exaggerating their injuries through to organised criminal gangs, insurance fraud hits all of us in the pocket. But the number of these fraudsters getting caught out sends a clear message to anyone thinking of committing insurance crime. They claimed, but now they're shamed. Fraudsters will conjure up all manner of cons to cheat the system. So if an insurer suspects foul play, it won't think twice about calling in the experts before reaching for the checkbook. And when it comes to bogus claims on the road, forensic engineers can be a fraudster's worst nightmare. For those of us with legitimate claims, insurance policies are there to compensate us and minimise the damage to our wallets. What's crucial, though, is understanding what your insurance policy does and doesn't cover. Not knowing that was a mistake that proved very costly for our next culprit. Because of the sheer number of dishonest claims they receive, the sad fact is that insurers have no choice but to check the validity of every claim that comes in. This is partly why we're asked to provide photos and other bits of paperwork to support the claims we make. And more often than not, it's when these documents and photos are scrutinised that the opportunists and barefaced liars are found out. Sometimes the simplest of details are enough to rumble opportunistic claimants looking to exaggerate their claims. But insurers are turning to increasingly sophisticated means of catching out fraudsters. One of the latest tools at their disposal is the same black box technology you'd normally find in an aeroplane, and it's proving to be incredibly effective at stopping bogus car insurance claims from slipping through the net. As we've seen on this programme, some chancers set up insurance policies with the sole intention of trying to make a claim. But for most of us, insurance is one of those rare things that we buy in the hope that we won't ever need to use it. And that's especially true when it comes to house insurance. If it means getting their hands on a payout, serious fraudsters are prepared to go the extra mile to get their claims rubber stamped, sometimes going as far as faking documents and even creating bogus identities. It's a dangerous game, however, because once suspicious claims start to be investigated by the experts, things can quickly unravel. Insurance fraud takes all sorts of forms, from organised criminal gangs inducing dangerous road accidents to people bumping up household claims with extra items. We're the ones paying the price. Consumers have to contend with ever more expensive premiums. But the industry and the police are cracking down, and the number of these fraudsters getting caught out sends a clear message to anyone thinking of committing insurance crime. They claimed, but now they're shamed. We've seen that fraudsters can connive, and the following case is very much a family affair. Even holidays can be hijacked by scammers. Our annual jaunts are something we look forward to and talk about long after we've returned. But if something goes wrong whilst we're away, it can be devastating. Opportunists don't have to travel to cash in. Some stay very close to home. Having your property broken into is a dreadful experience. Knowing a stranger has rummaged through your precious belongings is upsetting enough. But what if some of those items are simply irreplaceable? It's easy to take for granted the freedom we have to go wherever we want, whenever we want. That's certainly not the case if you're serving time. Then, as an inmate, you face long days behind bars. With more than 80,000 prisoners in the UK's jails, there's a fair few with too much time on their hands. Bogus personal injury claims often play on sympathy to help get a payout, and nothing gets more sympathy than the loss of a loved one. And that includes our furry friends who are part of the family. If they're hurt, or even worse, disappear, it can be heartbreaking. From people chancing their luck by exaggerating their injuries through to organised criminal gangs, insurance fraud hits all of us in the pocket. But the number of these fraudsters getting caught out sends a clear message to anyone thinking of committing insurance crime. They claimed, but now they're shamed.